A young girl goes missing while walking her horse on a peaceful trail, leaving her family desperate for answers. But 1 year later, a ranger's thermal camera captures something in the woods that makes everyone's blood run cold. Subscribe to the channel, leave your like and comment from what part of the world you're watching, because now I'm going to tell you how all of this happened. "Lily, be home by lunch," Sarah Carson called from the porch, her hand shielding her eyes from the morning sun. "I will, Mom." 15-year-old Lily adjusted her gray jacket and waved back. Her long blonde hair caught the breeze as she guided her white horse, Whisper, down the gravel driveway of their small Montana ranch. Every Saturday morning was the same. Rain or shine, snow or heat, Lily and Whisper would make their journey through the Pinewood Nature Reserve that bordered their property in Oak Ridge. Today, October 12, 2022, the air felt crisp with autumn. Red and orange leaves covered the trail ahead. "Ready for our adventure, girl?" Lily leaned forward to pat Whisper's neck. The horse nickered softly in response, her ears perking forward. The bond between them had been strong since Lily was 10 years old, when she had helped deliver Whisper after the mother horse died during birth. Lily guided Whisper past the wooden sign marking the entrance to the reserve. She loved the quiet of the forest in the morning, before other hikers arrived. It was their special time together. "Morning, Lily," called Mr. Jenkins, the elderly man who lived in the cabin near the reserve entrance. He was always up early, tending to his garden. "Morning, Mr. Jenkins. Beautiful day, isn't it? Perfect day for a ride. Tell your dad I've got those fence posts he was asking about." "I will." Lily smiled and continued down the trail. As they moved deeper into the reserve, the sounds of the town faded away. Lily loosened her grip on the reins, letting Whisper choose their path. The horse knew the trails as well as Lily did. "Let's go to Split Rock Creek today," Lily said, guiding Whisper toward the north trail. It was a longer route than usual, but the fall colors were always most beautiful there. At home, Robert Carson was in his workshop, sanding a wooden chair he was making for Sarah's birthday next month. "Do you think she remembered her water bottle this time?" Sarah asked, appearing at the workshop door. Robert laughed. "Probably not. That girl would forget her own head if it wasn't attached." "But she never forgets anything for Whisper," Sarah said with a smile. "That horse has more supplies than a camping trip." "That's our Lily," Robert nodded, blowing sawdust from the chair. "She'll be a great vet someday." Back in the forest, Lily had reached a clearing where wildflowers still bloomed despite the fall season. She dismounted and led Whisper to a small stream. "Drink up, girl." Lily knelt beside the water, pulling her science homework from her saddlebag. "Want to hear about photosynthesis? Mrs. Baker says I need to practice explaining it." Whisper snorted, dipping her muzzle into the cool water. "I'll take that as a yes," Lily laughed, flipping open her notebook. "So plants take sunlight and turn it into food, kind of like magic but with science." Lily often read to Whisper, believing the horse understood her better than most people did. It was a habit her friends found odd, but her parents understood. After the break, Lily checked her watch. 10:30, still plenty of time before lunch. "Let's try that new trail today," she told Whisper, as she climbed back into the saddle. The new path curved around the northern edge of the reserve, an area Lily rarely explored. The trees grew thicker here, the trail narrower. Whisper's ears twitched nervously. "It's okay, girl," Lily soothed, patting the horse's neck. "Just a little farther." As they rounded a bend, Lily heard something unusual, the sound of engines, deep in the forest where no vehicles should be. Curious, she guided Whisper off the main trail, following the noise. "Let's see what that is, then we'll head home," she whispered. The forest opened into another clearing, this one hidden behind a ridge. Lily pulled Whisper to a stop, suddenly frozen. Below them, partially hidden by trees, 3 large trucks were parked outside what looked like an old mine entrance. Men in dark clothes moved large wooden crates from the trucks into the mine. One of the men looked up directly at Lily. "Hey!" he shouted. "There's someone watching!" Lily's heart jumped. She turned Whisper quickly, urging the horse back toward the trail. Behind her, she heard the men shouting and the sound of vehicles starting up. "Run, Whisper! Run!" Lily whispered urgently, leaning low against the horse's neck as they galloped through the trees, away from whatever she had just witnessed. The autumn sun began to set over Oak Ridge, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple. Robert Carson paced the length of their ranch house porch, checking his watch for the 20th time. "It's almost 6 o'clock," he said to Sarah, who stood by the door with her arms wrapped around herself. "Lily said she'd be home for lunch." "Maybe she lost track of time," Sarah suggested, though worry lined her face. "You know how she gets when she's with Whisper." Robert shook his head. "Not this late. She's never this late." He pulled out his phone and dialed Lily's number again. The call went straight to voicemail. "Lily, it's Dad. We're worried. Please call us as soon as you get this." Sarah stepped forward, her face pale. "I've called all her friends. Nobody's seen her today." "I'm going to look for her," Robert said, already heading toward the barn. "I'll take the truck along the reserve entrance." "I'll keep calling everyone," Sarah said, her voice breaking. "Maybe someone saw her on the trails." As darkness fell, Robert drove along the perimeter of Pinewood Nature Reserve, shining a flashlight into the trees and calling Lily's name. With each passing minute, the knot in his stomach tightened. By 8 o'clock, Robert had called Sheriff Mike Williams, who arrived at the Carson home with 2 deputies. "When did you last see her?" Sheriff Williams asked, notebook in hand. "This morning around 9, Sarah answered, clutching a photo of Lily. She was wearing her gray jacket, jeans, and riding boots. She took Whisper for their Saturday ride, just like always." "Whisper is her white horse," Robert explained. "They always take the main trails through the reserve." Sheriff Williams nodded. "We'll organize search parties right away. The reserve is big, but if she's on a white horse, that should help us spot her." By 9:30, 20 volunteers from town had gathered at the reserve entrance, carrying flashlights and calling Lily's name as they spread out along the trails. "I can't just sit here," Robert told Sarah, grabbing his jacket. "I'm joining the search." "I'm coming too," Sarah said firmly. They joined different search groups, Robert taking the northern trails while Sarah went east, with a team led by Lily's science teacher, Mrs. Baker. "Lily!" Robert called into the darkness. "Lily, can you hear me?" His voice echoed through the trees, met only by the calls of other searchers in the distance. Just before midnight, a shout came from near Split Rock Creek. "I found something," called a volunteer named Tom Wilson. Robert ran toward the voice, his heart pounding. When he arrived, he saw Tom standing with Sheriff Williams. Between them stood Whisper. The white horse was still saddled, her reins dragging on the ground. She appeared nervous, tossing her head and stepping sideways when anyone approached. "Whisper," Robert said softly, moving slowly toward the horse. "Where's Lily, girl?" The horse allowed Robert to take her reins, but there was no sign of Lily anywhere. "We need more people," Sheriff Williams said, speaking into his radio. "And we need daylight. I'm calling in help from the county." By morning, the search had grown. 50 volunteers combed the reserve, focusing on the area where Whisper had been found. Deputy Lauren Martinez brought search dogs that sniffed Lily's jacket and then tried to pick up her scent in the forest. "This doesn't make sense," Martinez told Sheriff Williams after the dogs seemed confused, circling the area where Whisper was found, but unable to follow a clear trail. "It's like she vanished into thin air." By afternoon, FBI Special Agent Diana Hayes arrived from the field office in Helena. She stood with Robert and Sarah at the reserve entrance, where a command post had been established. "We're treating this as a missing persons case," Agent Hayes explained. "We'll be bringing in drones to search areas the ground teams can't reach easily." "She wouldn't just leave Whisper," Sarah said, her voice hollow. "Something happened to her." Agent Hayes nodded. "We'll find her. The fact that we found her horse is actually helpful. It gives us a starting point." But as days turned into a week, no trace of Lily was found. No footprints leading away from the trail. No pieces of clothing caught on branches. Whisper's saddle was undisturbed, with Lily's water bottle and homework still in the saddlebags. The people of Oak Ridge came together, hundreds of volunteers searching every inch of the 5,000-acre reserve. Lily's face appeared on the news. Missing person posters covered storefronts in 3 counties. And still, nothing. "I don't understand," Robert told Sheriff Williams as they stood by the creek where Whisper had been found. "How can a teenage girl on a white horse just disappear without leaving any trace?" Sheriff Williams had no answer. In 20 years of law enforcement in Montana, he had never seen anything like it. The girl on the white horse had simply vanished. As October turned to November, the search for Lily Carson transformed the small town of Oak Ridge. Yellow ribbons appeared on every lamppost and tree along Main Street, a symbol of hope that refused to fade. 3 weeks, Robert said, staring at the calendar in their kitchen. "It's been 3 weeks, Sarah." Sarah looked up from the stack of missing person flyers she was organizing. "I know, Rob, but we can't give up." The phone rang, and Sarah grabbed it quickly. "Hello? Yes, this is Sarah Carson." She listened for a moment, then shook her head at Robert. "Thank you for checking. Please keep the flyer up." Robert sat down heavily. Another dead end? That was a gas station owner in Clearwater. Someone thought they saw a girl who looked like Lily, but it wasn't her. This had become their new normal, brief moments of hope followed by crushing disappointment. That afternoon, they met with Agent Hayes at the Oak Ridge Community Center, where a volunteer headquarters had been established. Maps of the reserve covered the walls, with colored pins marking areas that had been searched. "We've had over 400 volunteers search the reserve," Agent Hayes explained, pointing to the map. "Every trail, every creek bed, every cave has been checked multiple times." "What about the thermal imaging?" Robert asked. "Any results from the helicopter scans?" Agent Hayes shook her head. "Nothing conclusive, but we're not giving up, Mr. Carson." Sarah pulled out a folder. "I've been thinking we need to expand our efforts. We've started a foundation, the Lily Carson Search Foundation. We've already raised $12,000 to continue the search even if," her voice faltered, "even if official resources get redirected." Agent Hayes nodded sympathetically. She'd seen it before. As time passed, resources would inevitably be shifted to newer cases. Outside the community center, a local news crew was setting up for a live broadcast. Lily's disappearance had caught national attention, her face appearing on morning shows and true crime programs. "Mrs. Carson," called a reporter as Sarah and Robert exited the building, "can we get a statement about the search?" Sarah straightened her shoulders. "We want everyone to know that we're not giving up hope. Lily is out there somewhere, and we will find her." As the weeks passed, the search continued, but whispers began to spread through town. "I heard she might have run away," said a woman at the grocery store. "Maybe she met someone online." "That Carson girl always was quiet," an older man responded. "Who knows what secrets she was keeping?" Sheriff Williams confronted these rumors directly at a town meeting in December. "Let me be clear," he said firmly. "We have no evidence whatsoever that Lily Carson ran away. She was a well-adjusted teenager with a loving family and good grades. Something happened to her, and this community needs to stay focused on finding her." The holidays came and went. Christmas decorations in the Carson home remained boxed away. Sarah couldn't bear to celebrate while Lily was missing. Instead, they held a candlelight vigil at the town square, where hundreds gathered despite the bitter cold. Every weekend, Robert took Whisper along the same trails Lily had ridden, hoping the horse might somehow lead him to his daughter. The white horse seemed to understand the mission, stopping occasionally to look into the forest as if searching too. By February, Agent Hayes had been reassigned to another case, though she called the Carsons weekly with updates. Sheriff Williams continued to coordinate with the FBI, but the case had gone cold. "We're not giving up," he assured the Carsons during a meeting in his office. "I'm running for county commissioner next year, and I promise you, finding Lily will remain my top priority, regardless of the election outcome." The Lily Carson Search Foundation grew, with volunteers from neighboring states joining weekend searches. Sarah managed the social media campaigns that kept Lily's face in the public eye, while Robert spoke at law enforcement conferences about missing children. As spring arrived, bringing new growth to the reserve where Lily had vanished, Sarah stood at the kitchen window watching Robert walk Whisper back to the barn. "She's still out there," Sarah whispered to herself, "and we will find her." The town of Oak Ridge had united around a single purpose, and despite the passing months, the yellow ribbons remained, waiting for Lily to come home. On October 12, 2023, exactly 1 year after Lily Carson disappeared, Park Ranger Tom Wilson zipped up his jacket against the cold autumn night. The moon hung full above the Greenwood Nature Reserve, casting long shadows between the trees. "Check in, Wilson," crackled his radio. Tom pressed the button on his shoulder. "Wilson here, beginning the Northern Sector survey. Any sign of that mountain lion?" "Negative, but I've got the new thermal camera. If it's out there, I'll find it." The thermal imaging camera had arrived last week, a high-tech device that could detect heat signatures in complete darkness. The Forest Service had purchased it after reports of a mountain lion near the hiking trails. Tom moved quietly through the trees, scanning the forest. The screen showed the world in colors of blue, green, and red, cold to hot. Trees appeared as cool blue shapes against the black background, while small animals glowed as tiny red dots scurrying through the undergrowth. At midnight, Tom reached a ridge overlooking a remote section of the reserve. He swept the camera slowly across the valley below. "What the—" Tom froze, staring at the screen. A human-shaped heat signature moved between trees over 2 miles from any marked trail. The figure appeared to be wearing a jacket with what looked like long hair flowing behind it. Tom zoomed in. The figure wasn't moving randomly like a lost hiker. It moved with purpose, staying low, pausing to look around before continuing. His hands shook slightly as he grabbed his radio. "Base, this is Wilson. I've got something on thermal. Coordinates N44.52, W111.37. It's a person." "A person? Are you sure? No hikers should be out there at this hour." "I'm sure. Looks like someone wearing a jacket, long hair, moving deliberately through the trees." There was a long pause. "Wilson, hold your position. I'm calling Sheriff Williams. This might be related to the Carson case." Tom's heart pounded. Everyone in Oak Ridge knew about Lily Carson. Her disappearance had haunted the town for exactly 1 year. "Copy that. I'll keep visual contact." Tom watched the figure move through the forest for 20 minutes until it disappeared into a dense patch of trees. By the time Sheriff Williams radioed, he had lost sight of it. "Wilson, Sheriff Williams here. Stay where you are. We're assembling a team. We'll reach your position at dawn." "Should I investigate closer?" "Negative. We don't know what we're dealing with. Just maintain your position and report if you see the figure again." As the first light of dawn broke over the hills, Tom heard voices approaching. Sheriff Williams arrived with 4 deputies and Robert Carson, who had insisted on joining despite the authorities' reluctance. "Where did you see it?" Robert asked immediately, his face showing the strain of a year's worth of searching. Tom pointed to the valley below. "Down there, moving between those clusters of pine trees, heading northeast." Sheriff Williams studied the area with binoculars. "That's nearly 2 miles from any trail. What would someone be doing out there in the middle of the night?" "Let's find out," Robert said, already starting down the slope. The search team moved carefully through the forest, following Tom's directions. Robert walked with determination, his eyes scanning every tree, every shadow. "Here," called one of the deputies. "Looks like someone came through here recently. Broken branches." The team followed the trail of disturbed vegetation, moving deeper into an area of the reserve few people ever visited. "Wait," Tom said suddenly, pointing ahead. "What's that?" A small clearing appeared between the trees. At the back of the clearing, partially hidden by overgrown bushes, was what looked like an entrance in the hillside. Sheriff Williams approached cautiously. "It's an old mining tunnel, not on any of our current maps." Robert pushed forward. "Lily could have found this. She always explored off the main trails." "Mr. Carson, please stay back," Sheriff Williams warned. "We don't know if it's safe." But Robert was already moving toward the dark entrance, his flashlight cutting through the shadows. "There's something here," he called, his voice breaking. "Oh my God." The others rushed forward. On a rock just inside the tunnel entrance lay a gray jacket, folded carefully with something wrapped inside. Robert's hands trembled as he reached for it. "That's Lily's jacket," he whispered, "the one her grandmother gave her." Sheriff Williams carefully took the gray jacket from Robert's trembling hands. He unfolded it slowly, revealing Lily's phone wrapped inside. "Her phone," Robert whispered. his voice breaking. "She never went anywhere without it." Deputy Martinez stepped forward with an evidence bag. "We need to preserve any fingerprints or DNA that might be on these items." Robert nodded, understanding but reluctant to let go of this connection to his daughter. "Can we see if there's anything on the phone?" "The battery's probably dead after a year," Sheriff Williams said gently, "but we'll take it to the station and see what we can find." The search team carefully documented the scene, taking photographs of the mine entrance and where the jacket had been found. The tunnel opening was small, partially collapsed, with old wooden support beams visible just inside. "This mine isn't on any of our current maps," Ranger Wilson explained. "Must be from the old copper mining days, early 1900s. Agent Hayes arrived as they were finishing. "We'll need a structural engineer to check if it's safe before we go deeper," she said, examining the entrance. "These old mines can be deadly." Robert paced anxiously. But Lily's jacket was right there. She could be inside. "Mr. Carson," Agent Hayes said firmly but kindly, "I promise we'll search every inch, but we have to do it safely. If that tunnel collapses while we're inside, we help no one." Back at the ranger station, they gathered around as a technician connected Lily's phone to a power source. "The battery was completely drained," the technician explained. "It might take a few minutes to power up, if it works at all." Sarah had joined them, her eyes fixed on the phone that had belonged to her daughter. "She recorded everything," she said quietly. "Every horse ride, every sunset. She loved capturing moments." After several minutes, the phone's screen flickered to life. "It's working," the technician announced. Sheriff Williams handed the phone to Agent Hayes, who wore gloves to preserve any evidence. She navigated to the video gallery. "There's a video from October 12th last year," she said, "the day Lily disappeared." Everyone leaned forward as Agent Hayes pressed play. The video showed Lily's face, close to the camera. She was breathing heavily, her blue eyes wide with fear. She was inside what looked like the mine tunnel, darkness behind her. "I don't have much time," she whispered urgently. "I was riding Whisper on the North Trail when I saw something I wasn't supposed to see. There were men unloading big wooden crates from trucks into this old mine entrance." In the video, Lily glanced nervously over her shoulder. "They saw me watching them. I ran, but I could hear them following on vehicles. I sent Whisper away to distract them and hid in here." Her voice trembled. "I'm hiding my phone with this message in case I can't get away." Sarah's hand covered her mouth, tears streaming down her face. "I think they're part of some kind of criminal operation," Lily continued. "There were at least 5 men, all wearing dark clothes. The crates had strange markings." Suddenly, Lily's head jerked up. The video captured muffled male voices approaching. "They're coming," she whispered, her face pale with terror. "If you find this, please tell Mom and Dad I love—" The video cut off abruptly. Silence filled the room. Robert stood with his fists clenched, tears in his eyes. Sarah leaned against him, sobbing quietly. Agent Hayes was already on her phone. "This is Special Agent Hayes. I need a full evidence response team at the Greenwood Reserve immediately. And get me authorization for a tunnel exploration team with structural engineers. We have confirmation of potential criminal activity connected to the Lily Carson disappearance." Sheriff Williams put his hand on Robert's shoulder. "This is the break we've been waiting for, Robert. Lily left us a clue. She's so smart," Sarah said through her tears. "Even in danger, she was thinking ahead." "The thermal image Ranger Wilson saw last night," Agent Hayes said thoughtfully. "Could it have been someone connected to this operation? Or someone else who knows what happened to Lily?" Sheriff Williams added. Robert's face hardened with determination. "Whatever it takes, whatever resources we need, we're going to find out what happened in that tunnel. We're going to find our daughter." Within hours of discovering Lily's video message, the FBI had transformed the quiet ranger station into a command center. Engineers in hard hats carefully inspected the mine entrance, while agents set up powerful lights around the perimeter. "The structure appears stable near the entrance," said the lead engineer, removing his helmet as he approached Agent Hayes. "But we'll need to proceed with caution deeper inside." "How soon can we get in there?" Robert asked, his voice strained with anticipation. "We're ready now," Agent Hayes replied, But Mr. and Mrs. Carson, I need you to remain here. This is potentially dangerous, and there may be evidence we need to preserve. Sarah gripped Robert's arm. Please, just find something that tells us where she is. The exploration team entered the tunnel at 4:30 in the afternoon. Agent Hayes led the way, followed by Sheriff Williams and 4 FBI evidence specialists. Each wore protective gear and carried powerful flashlights. The tunnel branches up ahead, Agent Hayes called back as they reached a junction 50 yards in. Sheriff Williams pointed to fresh tire tracks in the dirt floor. These aren't a year old. Someone's been using this tunnel recently. They followed the tracks to the right, moving deeper underground. After another 100 yards, the narrow passage suddenly opened into a large cavern. My God, Agent Hayes whispered as their flashlights revealed what lay before them. The natural cave had been converted into a sophisticated facility. Metal tables lined one wall, covered with laboratory equipment. Large generators hummed quietly in the corner. Wooden crates, similar to those Lily described, were stacked along another wall. This is a drug manufacturing operation, Sheriff Williams said, examining the equipment. One of the biggest I've ever seen. Agent Hayes opened one of the crates. Precursor chemicals, everything needed to produce methamphetamine on an industrial scale. Look at this, called one of the evidence specialists, holding up a ledger. They've kept detailed records. Agent Hayes took the book and flipped through it. Shipment dates, quantities, distribution points. She stopped suddenly. There's an entry from October 12th last year. Unexpected complication. Witness secured. Moved to Site B. Robert and Sarah waited anxiously at the ranger station as the sun began to set. When Agent Hayes finally emerged from the tunnel, her face was grim but determined. We found evidence of a major drug operation run by a group called the Border Chain Gang, she explained. They're one of the largest criminal organizations in the Northwest. What about Lily? Sarah asked desperately. We found records suggesting that after Lily accidentally discovered their operation, she was taken across state lines to another facility they call Site B. Robert slammed his fist against the wall. Where is this Site B? We don't know yet, Agent Hayes replied, but we found shipping manifests, contact information, and detailed records. We're already analyzing everything. By midnight, the FBI had set up a major operations center in Helena. Agents worked through the night, piecing together information from the underground facility. The Border Chain Gang operates across Montana, Idaho, and Washington, explained Agent Hayes as she briefed a room full of law enforcement officers. Based on these records, we believe they have at least 3 major facilities. An analyst stepped forward. We've identified multiple phone numbers from the ledgers. One keeps appearing with references to Site B. We've tracked it to a rural area outside Clearwater, Idaho. Agent Hayes studied the satellite images on the screen. It's remote, heavily wooded, with what appears to be a compound surrounded by fencing. Could Lily be there? Asked Sheriff Williams. It's possible. The records indicate they use this location to house workers for their operation. Some entries refer to new acquisitions being processed there. Workers or prisoners? Sheriff Williams asked. Agent Hayes' expression darkened. Based on what we're seeing, we believe they may be forcing kidnapped teenagers to work in their drug operations. We've identified transport logs for 12 individuals over the past 18 months, all matching the age ranges of missing persons reports. Sarah and Robert arrived at the FBI office early the next morning, having barely slept. We have a lead, Agent Hayes told them. We believe Lily may have been taken to a compound in Idaho. We're preparing a raid operation now. When? Robert demanded. Tomorrow at dawn. We need to coordinate with Idaho authorities and get specialized teams in place. Sarah gripped Robert's hand tightly. If she's there, Agent Hayes promised, we'll bring her home. The rising sun cast long shadows across the rural Idaho landscape as 24 FBI agents took position around the perimeter of the compound. Agent Hayes crouched behind an armored vehicle, binoculars trained on the main building. All teams in position, came a voice through her earpiece. Thermal imaging confirms 12 individuals inside the main structure, reported another agent. 4 appear to be adults based on size. The others are smaller, likely the missing teenagers. Agent Hayes raised her radio. All units, execute on my mark. Remember, there are potential hostages inside. 3, 2, 1, go. The raid happened with military precision. Agents breached the gates while others scaled the fence at different points. Flashbang grenades created momentary confusion inside as the FBI tactical team stormed the main entrance. FBI, everyone on the ground now, shouted the lead tactical agent as they moved through the building. Inside, they found a facility similar to the underground operation in Montana, but with living quarters attached. 4 armed men were quickly subdued and handcuffed. Clear the East Wing, Agent Hayes ordered as she entered the building. In the East Wing, agents found what they had feared, a dormitory-style room with bunk beds where young people were kept. Some appeared malnourished, all looked terrified. "We're FBI agents," a female agent announced, holstering her weapon. "You're safe now. We're here to help you." A thin boy with dark circles under his eyes stood up. "Are you really the FBI?" "Yes," the agent assured him. "You're safe now. Can you tell me your name?" "Tyler Johnson. I've been here for 8 months." Agent Hayes moved through the room, checking each face against mental images of missing teenagers from the region. Then she saw her, a girl with blonde hair sitting on a bottom bunk in the corner. "Lily?" Agent Hayes approached slowly. "Lily Carson?" The girl looked up, her blue eyes wide with disbelief. "You found me?" Agent Hayes knelt beside her. "Yes, your parents never stopped looking for you." Lily's eyes filled with tears. "They're okay? The men said they would hurt my family if I tried to escape. Your parents are fine. They've been searching for you every day." Outside the compound, Robert and Sarah Carson waited anxiously in an FBI vehicle. Despite Agent Hayes' insistence that they remain in Montana, they had followed the operation to Idaho, refusing to stay behind. "Something's happening," Robert said, watching agents escorting handcuffed men to vehicles. Then the door to the main building opened again. Agent Hayes emerged, walking alongside a slender figure with blonde hair. "Lily!" Sarah's scream cut through the morning air as she bolted from the vehicle. Robert ran after her, both parents racing toward their daughter. Lily looked up, saw her parents, and broke into a run. They collided in an embrace so fierce they nearly fell to the ground. "Mom! Dad!" Lily sobbed, clinging to them. "My baby!" Sarah cried, cupping Lily's face in her hands. "My beautiful girl!" Robert couldn't speak, could only hold his daughter tightly, as tears streamed down his face. Agent Hayes approached after giving them a moment. "Lily is one of 12 teenagers we've rescued today. She'll need medical attention, but physically, she appears okay." Later at a hospital in Clearwater, doctors examined Lily and the other rescued teens. After confirming she had no serious physical injuries, Lily was allowed to sit with her parents in a private room where Agent Hayes needed to ask her questions. "Lily, I know this is difficult, but can you tell us what happened after you recorded that video on your phone?" Lily nodded, holding her parents' hands. "After I hid my phone, the men found me. They took me to a different part of the mine, then put me in a van. They brought me here and told me I had to work for them, or they would hurt my family." "What did they make you do?" Agent Hayes asked gently. "We had to package drugs, clean the equipment. Sometimes they made us cook for everyone." Lily's voice trembled. "They watched us all the time. We couldn't leave." "The thermal image Ranger Wilson captured," Agent Hayes said. "That was you, wasn't it?" Lily nodded. "I escaped 3 days ago. I took some food and a jacket and ran into the forest. I was trying to find my way home." She looked at her parents. "I remembered what Grandpa taught me about following the North Star. I only traveled at night so they wouldn't find me." Robert squeezed her hand. "You were so brave, Lily." "We never gave up hope," Sarah whispered, stroking her daughter's hair. "Never." Agent Hayes smiled. "You're going home now, Lily, and the people who did this will never hurt anyone again." The drive back to Oak Ridge took almost 8 hours, but Lily slept for most of it, her head resting on Sarah's lap in the back seat of the FBI vehicle. As they passed the town sign, Lily woke up and looked out the window. "Everything looks the same," she whispered. Robert turned from the front seat. "Some things never change, sweetheart, and some things changed completely when you disappeared." As they pulled up to their ranch, Lily spotted a white shape in the pasture. Her eyes widened. "Whisper," she exclaimed, sitting up straight. The car had barely stopped when Lily opened the door and ran toward the fence. The white horse raised her head, ears perked forward. For a moment, horse and girl stared at each other across the field. Then Whisper neighed loudly and galloped toward her. "She remembers me," Lily cried as the horse reached the fence and stretched her neck over it. Lily wrapped her arms around Whisper's neck, burying her face in the horse's mane. Sarah and Robert watched from a distance, giving their daughter this moment with her beloved horse. "I told you I'd come back," Lily whispered to Whisper. "I promised." That night, Lily stood in her bedroom doorway, taking in the familiar space that had remained unchanged during her absence. Her science book still stacked on the desk, her blue quilt still on the bed, the photos of her and Whisper still on the wall. "We didn't change anything," Sarah said softly behind her. "We couldn't." Lily sat on her bed, running her hand over the quilt. "Can I have the windows open? I need to hear the outside." Robert nodded. "Of course, sweetie." "And," Lily hesitated, "could you leave the door open, just for tonight?" Sarah's eyes filled with tears. "We'll leave it open every night if you want." When her parents finally left her to rest, Lily lay awake, staring at her ceiling. The sounds of the ranch, crickets chirping, the distant nicker of horses, the creak of the old house settling, slowly relaxed her. She was home. Morning brought the first challenges of returning to normal life. Lily woke up screaming from a nightmare, sending her parents rushing to her room. "You're safe," Robert repeated, holding her shoulders gently. "You're home." After breakfast, Lily looked out the window to see news vans parked at the end of their driveway. "They want to talk to you," Sarah explained, "but you don't have to see anyone until you're ready." Sheriff Williams arrived mid-morning, keeping the reporters at bay while delivering an update. "The entire border chain gang operation is being dismantled," he told them in the living room. 4 more arrests were made overnight. They'll never hurt anyone again." Lily nodded, staring at her hands. "What about the other kids?" "All being reunited with their families," Sheriff Williams assured her. "Thanks to you, Lily. Your video and your bravery helped us find all of you." The whole town wanted to welcome Lily home. Yellow ribbons that had marked her absence now became symbols of celebration, tied around every tree on Main Street. "It's too much," Lily said, looking out at the decorations from the car window as they drove to her first appointment with Dr. Mendez, a therapist specializing in trauma. "They missed you," Robert said simply. "Everyone missed you." Dr. Mendez's office was warm and comfortable, with no windows facing the street to ensure privacy. "Healing isn't a straight line, Lily," Dr. Mendez explained during their first session. "Some days will be harder than others. That's normal." "Will I ever stop being afraid?" Lily asked. "Your fear will change shape," Dr. Mendez said. "Right now it's very big. With time and work it will become smaller." That evening, as the sun began to set, Lily asked to see Whisper again. Sarah watched nervously from the porch as Robert walked with Lily to the pasture. "Do you think she'll ever ride again?" Sarah asked when Robert returned alone. "Give her time," Robert said, watching Lily talking softly to Whisper across the fence. "She's finding her way back to herself, one step at a time." As darkness fell, Lily returned to the house. For the first time since coming home, she smiled. A small smile, but genuine. "Whisper remembered all our special signals," she told her parents. "She still knows me." That night, when the house was quiet, Sarah placed a baby monitor in Lily's room, with her permission, and kept the receiver close as she lay awake, listening to her daughter's breathing, grateful for each rise and fall, each proof that Lily was really home. The courthouse was packed as Lily walked toward the witness stand. Her legs felt heavy, but her head was held high. Her parents sat in the front row, their faces showing both worry and pride. "Please state your name for the record," said the prosecutor, a tall woman named Ms. Bennett. Lily Carson, she said, her voice stronger than she expected. Lily, can you identify the man who took you from Pinewood Nature Reserve last October? Ms. Bennett asked. Lily pointed to a man in an orange jumpsuit. That's him, the one with the scar on his chin. The man looked down, avoiding her gaze. What happened after he found you in the mine tunnel? Ms. Bennett asked. Lily took a deep breath. He and another man took me to a van. They blindfolded me and drove for many hours. When we got to the compound in Idaho, they told me I had to work for them, or they would hurt my family. Testifying was hard, but Dr. Mendez had helped Lily prepare. They had practiced what to expect in court, how to handle difficult questions, and ways to stay calm. You're helping protect other kids, Dr. Mendez had told her during their session before the trial. Your voice matters. After court, Robert hugged Lily tightly. You did great, sweetie. So brave. Is it over now? Lily asked. Sarah squeezed her hand. This trial is almost over. The judge will decide their punishment soon. Back home in Oak Ridge, Lily tried to find normal again. 3 months had passed since her rescue. She started with small steps, like helping feed the horses each morning. Whisper needs exercise, Robert said one Saturday morning as they finished breakfast. Would you like to come watch while I walk her? Lily looked out the window at her white horse. Actually, Dad, I think I want to try riding her today. Sarah looked up quickly. Are you sure? Just in the corral, Lily said. Not on the trails, not yet. Robert nodded, hiding his excitement. I'll saddle her up. Lily walked slowly to the barn, her heart beating fast. Whisper stood patiently as Robert adjusted the saddle. She's missed you, he said. Lily stroked Whisper's neck. I missed her too. With Robert's help, Lily climbed into the saddle. For a moment, fear gripped her chest as memories flooded back. Then Whisper turned her head, nickering softly as if to say, It's okay. Just walk around the corral, Robert suggested. Take it slow. Lily guided Whisper in a gentle circle. With each step, her confidence grew. By the time they finished, she was smiling. How did it feel? Sarah asked as Lily returned to the house. Like finding a piece of myself again, Lily answered. That afternoon, Sheriff Williams stopped by with news. The border chain gang leaders were sentenced today, he told them. 30 years minimum. And because of your testimony, Lily, they've passed new laws to increase protection of national park boundaries. Will it help stop this from happening to other kids? Lily asked. It already has, Sheriff Williams said. The information you provided helped us find 3 more locations where they were holding teenagers. School was the next challenge. Lily wasn't ready for full days yet, but she started meeting with her teachers twice a week. Everyone keeps staring at me, she told Dr. Mendez during their Thursday session. They don't know what to say, Dr. Mendez explained. People want to help, but don't know how. My friend Emma just treats me normal, Lily said. That helps the most. As spring arrived, bringing wildflowers to the ranch, Lily made a decision. I want to speak at the Missing Children's Conference next month, she told her parents one evening. Sarah looked surprised. Are you sure? There will be a lot of people there. I've been writing about what happened, Lily explained. Dr. Mendez says sharing my story might help other families who are still searching for their children. Robert nodded slowly. If that's what you want, we'll support you. The night before her speech, Lily couldn't sleep. She slipped out of bed and went to the kitchen, where she found her mother already sitting with a cup of tea. Nervous about tomorrow? Sarah asked. Lily nodded. What if I can't help them? By standing up there, you're already helping, Sarah said. You're showing that sometimes missing children do come home. 1 year after her rescue, Lily stood in front of her mirror, adjusting the new blue dress she had chosen for her 17th birthday party. Her blonde hair, now cut to shoulder length, framed a face that looked older than her years, but carried a quiet strength. Lily, your guests are arriving, Sarah called from downstairs. Lily took a deep breath and headed down to the backyard, where tables decorated with yellow flowers had been set up. Her parents had invited the entire community that had helped search for her, but Lily had also asked for something special. The other teenagers who had been rescued from the compound were coming too. There she is, Robert announced as Lily stepped onto the patio. Everyone applauded, making Lily blush. Emma, her best friend, ran up and hugged her. "Happy birthday! The decorations look amazing." "Thanks for helping Mom set everything up," Lily said. Sheriff Williams approached with his wife. "Happy birthday, Lily. The foundation office looks great with those new computers you helped install." The Carson Search Foundation had really grown. Tyler, one of the teens rescued with Lily, said as he joined them. "You guys helped find my little cousin last month." Lily smiled. "That's what we're here for." After the cake was cut and the singing ended, Lily stood up to address her guests. "Thank you all for coming today. A year ago, I didn't know if I would ever see another birthday at home." She paused, looking at the faces around her, some with tears, others smiling encouragingly. "But because of everyone here, and because of what we went through," she nodded to Tyler and the other rescued teens, "we've been able to help 8 missing children find their way home this year." Robert put his arm around Sarah, both watching their daughter with pride. "The foundation isn't just about finding missing kids anymore," Lily continued. "We're working with schools to teach safety awareness, and our support group helps survivors adjust to life after trauma." Tyler stood up. "I wouldn't be starting college next fall if it wasn't for Lily and the foundation helping me catch up on school." After the party, as the sun began to set, Lily walked to the barn where Whisper waited in her stall. "Want to go for our ride?" Robert asked, following her. "Yes," Lily said, "but today I want to try something different." Sarah joined them, carrying Lily's gray jacket, not the original one lost in the mine, but one that looked similar. "Are you sure about this?" Lily nodded, taking the jacket. "I'm ready." Together, they saddled Whisper and 2 other horses. For the first time since her return, Lily was going to ride the trails in Pinewood Reserve, not the northern path where she had disappeared, but the main trail that followed the creek. "I'll be right beside you," Robert assured her as they mounted their horses. "I know, Dad," Lily said, "but I need to do this." As they rode through the entrance to the reserve, Lily felt her heart racing. Memories flashed through her mind. Fear, darkness, uncertainty. But then Whisper nickered softly, and Lily leaned forward to pat her neck. "We're okay now, girl," she whispered. They rode for 20 minutes, reaching a viewpoint overlooking Oak Ridge. The town lights were just coming on as dusk approached. "It's beautiful," Sarah said, stopping beside her daughter. "It is," Lily agreed, "and it's home." As they watched the sunset, Lily thought about how far she had come. The nightmares still came sometimes, but less frequently. She still checked exit routes in new places, but the panic no longer overwhelmed her. "Next week I'm speaking at Mountain View High School," Lily told her parents, "about safety awareness for teenagers." Robert smiled. "You'll do great, just like your talk at the conference. And after that, I want to visit the new teenager rescued last month in Washington," Lily continued. "She's having a hard time adjusting." Sarah reached over to hold her daughter's hand. "You found your calling, haven't you?" Lily nodded, watching as the sun's last rays painted the sky in shades of orange and pink. "Sometimes terrible things happen that we can't control, but we can control what we do afterward." As darkness settled over the reserve, the 3 turned their horses toward home. Lily rode slightly ahead, her back straight, her eyes forward. She had traveled through darkness before and found her way back. Now she would help others do the same. "Ready to head back?" Robert called. "Yes," Lily answered, nudging Whisper into a gentle trot. "I'm ready for whatever comes next."